Did you just get a rowing machine? Or maybe you're new to rowing in general? Well, it can be a lot. I know. So what I'm going to do is give you some tips to get started so that you can feel good with your rowing journey. I'm Cassie Neiman. I'm a You Can Row 2 master rowing instructor. I'm here to help you get started. So you just got a machine, right? It's all put together. Now what? Well, I'm going to give you 3 tips of things that you can do before we even start moving on the machine. And then 3 things to do or think about as you do start the rowing stroke. All right. Number 1, when you sit down on the machine, I want you to look at the damper. That is this lever here on the side that adjusts how much air is coming in and out of the flywheel. It is not necessarily the resistance. The amount of work you put into the machine correlates how much resistance the machine gives to you. This just is the feel of the machine. Now, where should that be when you look? Well, it should be at the setting that's best for you. If you're new to rowing, I don't know what that is, and that's totally cool. So I'm going to tell you where. You're going to put it between a 3 and a 5. That's the place where you are going to get the best row to experiment, to learn, to figure out the stroke, to determine how you're applying intensity, speed, and what that looks like in different pieces and times and distances, okay? Now, and I'll tell you why. Because when we put it all the way down at a 1, we close off all these slots. That means no air is being pulled. That's going to make it feel very light. Alternatively, when we put it all the way up at a 10, that's going to open up all the slots. It's going to pull in a bunch of air, and your stroke is going to feel heavier. Neither of these are really great places to start. They're kind of the extremes, okay? So the best place for most people is right in that middle zone between a 3 and a 5. In that area, we're getting a good amount of air in. We're able to feel the connection to the machine, and it's not too much, not too little. Now, as you go and you experiment and you learn, you can adjust that to the place that makes you the most effective rower that you can be, right? But until you know that, we're going to put it between 3 and a 5. That's step 1. Step 2, we're going to make sure we put our seat in the right place. Now, these are the foot stretchers. We're going to put our foot in so that strap lands over the ball of our foot. That's the widest part of our foot, probably the bottom of your shoelaces there. And we're going to pull that strap nice and tight. Now, the reason why we want to put our foot in the place where the strap is at the ball of our foot is so that we have some mobility here. Now, that means that I could lift up my heels. Doesn't mean that I have to lift up my heels. It just means I have that mobility. If my foot were up much higher, I would not have that ability to lift my heels up. And I may need to do that to get into a full compressed catch position. All right. So other than that, putting your feet in the right place allows your body to get into a good position to produce force to get the most out of every stroke. So I haven't even started rowing yet. 2 big things. Look at the damper, fix your feet. All right. Number 3, we're not even going to start rowing. We're just going to straighten out the legs. What we're going to do is we're going to take our hands and we're going to pick up our butt cheeks and we're going to walk them back lightly. We're just going to pick them up so that we start to rotate our pelvis into a more neutral position. Now, I don't want you to end up on the back side of the seat. I also don't want you to end up on the very tippy front of the seat. We want to be right in the middle of the seat with our sit bones down into the seat. So when we pick the butt cheeks up, we are able to rotate that pelvis to that neutral position. So when we hinge from our hips, it's coming from the hip and not our lower back. So if we sit in this slouched position, we might end up putting a lot of pressure in the back. And we don't want that. So we want to sit up nice and tall. We want to hinge from the hips. So get those sit bones down into the seat. You're going to feel the front of the seat on the back of your legs. All right. Best way to do that is to straighten out your legs and go ahead and pick those butt cheeks up and kind of walk your legs into a more straight position. You can even go ahead and lean over and touch your toes for a nice little stretch here. 3 things to do before we've even started rowing. Look at the damper, put your feet in the right place, and adjust your butt cheeks. Okay? Now we're going to actually start talking about the stroke itself. One of the biggest things that I want you to think about, and this is really just a concept, is that the rowing stroke is made of 2 parts. It's made of a part where we're actually doing work, where we're driving and pushing into the machine to get the most out of each stroke. And then it's followed by a recovery. So rowing is different from running in that when we're running and if we stop, we're not going anywhere anymore. We've stopped. Whereas in rowing, we're going to do a hard thing followed by a rest. So we're going to work and then we're going to recover. We're going to drive hard and then we're going to rest. So those 2 big parts is kind of important because we don't want to end up working on both ends of the stroke. That's going to just get us really out of breath really fast. Okay, so thinking about doing work and then rest. Now, the second tip of the rowing stroke is going over the parts of the stroke, the order of operations. Now, it's a mantra that you can remember. You're going to remember that we're going to do arms away, body swing over. Remember, we got our hips into the right position. And then we're just going to bend the knees up into our catch position. So legs, body, arms, arms, body, legs. So we're doing these three things, the same thing in and out. Arms, body, legs, legs, body, arms. Now, if you can remember that mantra of arms, body, legs, legs, body, arms, then you will end up with a much better stroke from the start. It may feel robotic, might feel a little silly at first, and you might not get the same times that you would get if you just got on and pulled real hard. But in the end, it will really pay off. And then the last little tip that I want to leave you with is when we're here up at this catch position. Our catch position is where we're poised and ready to push into the machine and get the most out of every stroke. What I want you to take away from here is that the rowing stroke is a push, okay? It is a leg dominant activity. We want to use the biggest parts of our body to get the most out of every stroke. We do not want to pull with our upper body. That part of our body is probably not the strongest. Well, it's definitely not as strong as our lower half, okay? So we want to push with the legs to get the most out of every stroke. So remembering that the rowing stroke is a push, not a pull. Push. You're going to push the machine away. Using that legs first, legs, body, arms, arms, body, legs. Legs, body, arms, arms, body, legs. And remembering that we've got two big parts. We've got a drive and a recovery. A drive and a recovery. Taking your time, getting your body into the right position on that recovery is going to allow you to be efficient and produce more force on the drive so you can get more out of the stroke that's actually going to pay off and send you somewhere based on what the monitor's telling you. So to recap, before you even start rowing, you're going to look at the damper. You're going to get your feet in the right position, and you're going to adjust your butt cheeks so that your pelvis is in a more neutral position. We're going to get into a good posture here. And then once we actually start moving, we're going to remember that the rowing stroke is built up of two big parts, the drive and the recovery. The drive is always going to go faster than the recovery. Then that's built into an order of operations: arms, body, legs, legs, body, arms, arms, body, legs, legs, body, arms. And then remembering that once we hit that catch, we are pushing, not pulling. I want you to push through those legs, through the feet to get the most out of every stroke. Now, there's a lot of other things that go into the rowing stroke, stuff that you'll spend your whole life working on. That's what makes this fun, okay? But hopefully with those 6 things, you'll feel better getting started and embark on this journey of fun times. So, hope to see you out there. So if you found this useful and you are just getting started rowing, let us know. Leave a comment below. Subscribe. Tell us what else you want to learn about. We're here to help. And if you're a coach and you want to learn even more so you can help your clients, well, we certify new coaches for indoor rowing with Concept 2. Just find out more at our website below.